Hey guys, in this video we're going to go over 25 signs she might be a keeper as long as she doesn't have some of those other red flag signs that you watched in my other video. If you're new to my channel, my name is Anna Jorgensen. I'm a dating coach for men, and if you haven't already, please click subscribe and the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my Just the Tip Tuesday videos. So let's just get right into it. These 25 signs are in no particular order, and they can apply whether you're courting or dating or actually already in a relationship but aren't quite sure if you should move forward. So let's just get into them. Sign number 1. She is kind to servers or cashiers or anybody in a service industry. So if she's kind to the service industry people, that's a good sign. But what's an even better sign is if she's kind to them when they make a mistake, because everybody makes mistakes. So you want to watch how she reacts when people in the service industry make a mistake. If she's really good about it and forgiving and thoughtful about it, then that's a pretty good sign that she's a good woman. Sign number 2 is along those lines, is that she will own up to her own mistakes in the relationship. So whether you're just courting or you're actually dating, if she's made a mistake that she's either aware of or unaware of, like maybe she's made a mistake and it's like, oh crap, it's come to her own attention through her own thought process that she shouldn't have done something and it might be a disappointment to you, then she'll own up to it. Another great sign is that if she doesn't know that she's made a mistake and you've reacted to it or responded to it in a way that is mature, and she, even if she wasn't aware, if it's something that is something you can work through together, she apologizes anyways and is like, gee, I didn't know that that was important to you and I'm really sorry. How can I make it up to you? She's a team player. So that brings me to number 3, which is she doesn't freak out if you make mistakes, especially if it's the second time you've made a mistake. So again, if it's early in the courting stage or dating and you've screwed up, whether it's something you knew you screwed up on, or maybe it was something you didn't even know you were doing wrong, but for some reason it offended her or it hurt her feelings or whatever, if she's quick to forgive you, especially if it's something that is a habit that you've done and it's the second time around, if she doesn't freak out about your mistake, as long as it's not something major like cheating or something along those lines, then that's a really good sign, because that's a person that you can actually deal with conflict with in a relationship. All relationships have conflict. So if she can handle conflict well and work with you to get through mistakes and errors that you've made, knowingly or not, then that's a really good sign. Number 4. She encourages you to follow your passions and participate in your hobbies. But if she does that and it doesn't even include her, so if she's willing to sacrifice so that you can do what you really want to do to follow your passion in life or your purpose in life, or still hang out with the guys or things like that, then that's a really, really good sign that she is a team player and wants you to be happy in your life outside of just what she can do to make you happy. Super good sign there. Number 5, at the same time, she has a full life as well. So she's got friends and she's got hobbies, and she's not relying just on you to fulfill all of her needs and her happiness. So if she's got a life going on that is already fulfilling and makes her happy, then that's a good sign that she's a potential keeper, because she won't rely exclusively on you for her happiness, which is not healthy. So same thing for you. You should not be relying exclusively on your partner for happiness. Okay, tip number 6. Again, along the same lines as encouraging you to participate in your hobbies, sports, and other passions, what have you. She encourages you to spend time with good friends and family. So what I mean by this is that she encourages you to spend time with your friends and family because they're important to you, and she wants you to spend time with other people who love you and who you love and or respect or whatever. as long as they're good for you. And what I mean is that if you have friends or family who are toxic, who bring you down, or say friends who are into, drugs or doing things that are not healthy for you or the relationship, well, understandably, she may not encourage you to want to spend time with those people. But if she encourages you to spend time with people who are good for you and that you care about, well, that's a really good sign, rather than her being selfish about just wanting you all to herself. Bonus points if you're inviting her to spend time with your important people and she wants to be there, even if she just wants to be there for your sake because you want her to be there. Really good sign. That's a white flag. No, that's not a white flag. That's surrender. It's a good sign that she's a keeper. Okay, next one. I think we're on 7. This one might be more for the guys than the girls, but okay, I'll go along with this one. So number 7 is that she doesn't try to move too quickly. So she doesn't want to push the relationship to move faster than you're ready for. So it's a bit of a flag if she wants to move really fast, really quickly before she knows you that well. But I'll tell you a story later on in the video about why that sometimes can be an exception to the rule. But generally speaking, if she wants to pace the relationship, to give it a chance to get to know you before making a final decision, that's actually a really good sign, because that means she's emotionally healthy and not desperate and needy to lock you down. And if you're the one that moves really quickly in a relationship because you're desperate and needy and lonely, well, you need to put the reins on yourself so that you don't make a mistake. Watch the red flags video. So anyways, if she's willing to pace the relationship and or not go faster than you're wanting to go, then that's a good sign. Number 8. She lifts your spirits when you're down. So instead of poking you when you're down or belittling you or harassing you or blaming you for whatever's caused you to have a bad day or bad moment or maybe a bad few weeks, who knows? Instead of doing that, she tries to lift you up and encourage you to be back to your happier self. Along the lines with that, number 9 is that when you win at something, she's your biggest cheerleader. So you want someone who is not going to feel threatened by you making progress and advancing and increasing your wins, life status, anything in life where you could potentially be perceived as having higher value than her. You want to make sure that your partner is your partner on that she feels that she's winning along with you and doesn't try to hold you back from winning because she's insecure and is afraid that you'll leave her, perhaps. So if she wins for you, when you have wins in your life, whether it's a job promotion or you decide to move forward on a new business opportunity, or you lost that 10 pounds you were wanting to lose, or whatever it is, if it's a win for you and she's your biggest cheerleader, that's a really good sign that she's a keeper. Next one. What are we on? 10? She loves the way you're a man, not a woman. So, a lot of women mistakenly try to make men into hairy women. And that's actually like a term from Alison Armstrong, who's a relationship coach. So if she sees your manliness and all of the so-called flaws women see in men, like lack of communication or not paying attention or whatever, if she thinks that's cute and you're such a man, when she says oh man, you're such a man, but she says it in a way that's admiring and adoring and that she's amused by in a positive way, that's a really, really good sign that she understands the dynamics of men and women being different. And even though we may be different because we're either wired differently or we're nurtured differently because of society or whatever, she appreciates the differences between men and women and she embraces them. Now remember, there's rarely going to be a woman who's going to have all of these qualities. That would be a unicorn. They do exist, but they're hard to find. And side note is that the more of these positive qualities a woman has, the more options she's going to have. And she's going to want to be with someone who has similar traits in some of these areas. So when you've gone through this whole list, then go back and rate yourself on these particular traits to see where you stack up. Okay, number 11. She's generous with her time and affection with you, but not needy or clingy. So she's there because she genuinely loves your company, not because she has nothing else going on in her world or she is just desperately clinging to someone to make her life meaningful. Well, enough said. All right, number 12. She looks for peaceful resolution. So this isn't to be confused with passive aggressive stonewalling where she'll just ignore you and punish you, but she wants to look for a resolution that will be a win-win. Even if neither of you get exactly what you want in a discussion or a disagreement, she is actually looking to try and understand your side of things. She wants to know what your perspective is. And it may not happen immediately in the time of the fight or the heat of the moment, but at some point she will set her ego aside and come back and say, okay, let's work through this. I want to know like where your needs are, et cetera, and so on. So if she can do that, like that's a huge sign of maturity. And again, like there's going to be lots of conflicts in a relationship because that's just the nature of them. So if she's willing to come and negotiate or try to understand your side, that's just such a huge, amazing quality for a woman to have. Keeper. Number 13. She's feminine, but not a radical leftist feminist. So the thing is that a lot of feminists are kind of hypocritical, actually. So a woman might say she's a feminist, but then she'll let you pick up the full check for the meal. And that's hypocrisy, right? Like, we're equal, but I'm paying for your meal. Wait a minute. That's not how it works. So if that's the case, she might be just a little confused on what her feminist views really are. So if she's feminine, but not a really radical feminist where men are the oppressors, if she says patriarchy and believes in the patriarchy, run away. That's actually a red flag. I should have put that in the other one, but I think I did actually. I did. We're going to go with I did. It was like number 1 most important if you didn't watch the whole video. Okay, number 14. You and her have compatible long-term goals and or she's willing to compromise in order for you to both reach mutual satisfaction in where you're going. This means that, you both want children. That's an important thing, that you're in alignment with your desire to be parents or not be parents. That's one of those things that there might not be room for compromise in. But the compromise might come from she wants kids right now and you want to wait until you're more established in your career or more established financially or whatever. So if she's willing to wait, well, then that's a good sign that she's on board for the long haul. Like she wants to be with you and it's not just all about her and her needs and wants and desires right this minute. Okay, you get the point on that one. Okay, number 15. You have compatible beliefs and values in the terms of lifestyle. So what I mean by this is togetherness, apartness, sex, money, children. So your beliefs and values about those topics generally align. Super important. And you're not going to know this until you ask questions and actually get to a place in your relationship where you can start imagining what those things might look like in the future. And you should talk about them because those are not things you want to get to down the road and realize that your values are not in alignment. That's why so many people end up splitting up and or fighting like crazy. So it's really important. And if you do have values and belief systems that are in alignment, then that's a necessity. Not just that she's a keeper, that's actually a necessity for any relationship. Number 16, she defends your honor whether you're with her or not. So if anybody's trash talking you, she's going to stand up for you, whether you're there or not, if publicly, if necessary. If she's got your back because she's never going to let anybody talk about you in a disrespectful way, whether you're there or not, which you might only hear about through other people, or you might experience when you're actually with her. If she actually puts herself out of her comfort zone or out of what might look like her being feminine or whatever, to stand up for you, then that's a really good sign because you want to make sure that you're with someone who's got your back in the relationship. So yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Number 17, she shows her appreciation of you through words or actions or affection in a way that meets your needs. So you probably have heard of the 5 love languages, which are words of affection, quality time, acts of service, gifts, and words of affirmation. Ha! So it's really challenging for a relationship to work if two people have different kind of love languages, but it can work if you do have different love languages where she's going to love you in the way that you need to be loved. So if you really are, require physical affection and she's not a physical affection, if she goes out of her way to provide that for you, she's definitely a keeper. So if your love languages match, it's a lot easier to provide love in the way that we receive love because we automatically do that. But if someone is willing to go away from their natural grain to give you what you need so that you feel loved the way you need to feel loved, that's pretty major. She's compromising herself, and not only compromising the way she loves, but she has to consciously think about this in order to be able to provide that for you. So if someone does this for you, man, lock that woman down. Lock her down. Okay, next one, because I've forgotten what we're on, so we'll just number them down below. Speaking of down below, she doesn't use sex as a weapon, and she doesn't withhold affection to punish you. Now, you won't know this until you've actually got to that stage, but you can gauge if you're courting a woman, you can have a conversation with her about this. Like, does a man deserve to be, shut out in the bedroom if he's done something wrong? So that's a conversation you can actually have in a playful way with someone that you're courting or dating. And probably, if you're not being serious, she'll probably give you an honest answer as to how she feels about that. This is a tough one for a lot of women. A lot of women naturally want to hold out on sex or affection when they're pissed off. And if there's any ladies watching this, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't use sex as a weapon. Do not withhold affection or love. Men equate intimate physical touch with the woman they deeply care about, not with the hoes and the thoughts from Saturday night, but with the woman they deeply care about. That is love for them. So don't withhold love. That's a terrible thing to do to a person. That's kind of mean, actually. So anyways, if a woman does not do this, and she does, even if she's mad at you, she's going to have sex with you or not go to bed angry, lock that woman down. Lock her down. She's a keeper for sure. Okay, next one. She looks for things to praise you for, even if it's just simple little things. John Gottman, who's like the godfather of relationships, says that successful relationships need to have 5 positive sort of affirmations or words of love and actions for every 1 negative, because we tend to remember the negative. So you want to load up your love piggy bank with lots of positives. So if a woman is willing to give you the types of praise that fill up your love piggy bank and very few criticisms or whatever actions or words will take away from that love piggy bank, then definitely that's a really good sign that she's worth considering as a keeper. Okay, next one. You know to the core of you. You know really down deep inside that she's got your back. She's your best friend. Now, this is more if you've spent some time together. You're not really going to know this too much in the early stages when you're courting or dating, because you wouldn't have probably had the time to allow her to exhibit that or express that, because you just might not have had something that's happened that has shown up to prove that. But you can find out by asking her questions about her relationships with her friends or family. Like, when was the time you really had your girlfriend's back? Oh, or when have you really showed up for the people in your lives? Or the sneakier way, because of course, when we're asked that question, we'll try to come up with something. But if you want to go the backdoor way of asking that question, you can ask, like, when has somebody not shown up for you? And why did that hurt you? And how would you have handled it differently? So those are some questions that you can ask that might reveal how she feels about showing up for people and being there for them when their chips are down. Okay, next one is, I think we're on 21. She doesn't play games. So the best way to give an example of this is that if you message her, now I know this is going to fly in the face of a lot of other videos I've done, but let me explain. If you message her and she replies back right away, then it's a good sign. Okay, we don't want anybody that's too desperate and needy, but we also want somebody who's going to treat us with respect. So if she treats you with respect because she's not interested in playing the game, then that's a good sign. For example, if she's actually busy or she hasn't seen the message or whatever, someone who's a keeper will say, sorry, I missed your message. I was doing whatever. Or if she's really busy at the moment and she's got the message and you can see that she's read it, she'll say, I'm really busy right now. I'll check back with you in a couple hours or whatever. So she'll acknowledge and reply, and then, postpone if necessary. Or if she really hasn't seen it, she'll apologize and explain why. So she's not into games like, I'm not going to text you back for so many days or so many hours, because neither of you needs to do that. So if you're at a stage in your life where you're just ready to settle down without settling, and this is the kind of communication you're getting from a woman, that's actually very good. So there you go, without being needy. 21, you laugh a lot together. So whether you're funny or she's funny, or you just find life funny, you wind up laughing a lot together, maybe for no reason whatsoever. But if you're comfortable enough and you've got the same sense of humor to be able to release all that oxytocin and dopamine and all those feel-good hormones that happen when you laugh, then that's a really good sign that she's awesome. Okay, next one is you can spend a lot of time together, not necessarily doing anything, but still enjoy each other's company and not feel claustrophobic. So you can, hang out for long periods of time, and you can either talk a lot or talk not at all, or you can do things or not do things. There can be sex or there can be no sex, but you just enjoy each other's company and you don't get tired of each other. A friend of mine, actually a guy friend of mine, said the bed doesn't feel crowded when she's there. And it's like, oh, that's so awesome. I'm so using that. So if you feel like you can spend all sorts of time with her and the bed doesn't feel crowded, then that's a really good sign. Next one. She's got her poop in a group. She's got her shit together. But she's not too serious. She can still let loose and have fun. So what this kind of looks like is a woman who kind of knows where she is at in life. She's got her priorities straight. She's, on track with a job or career. If she's got kids, they're, well adjusted. And generally her life is not chaotic. So what that means generally is that she's got room in her life for someone else to add to it, not to fix it. So if her life looks pretty stable and she's not a victim, or if she's not a damsel in distress, but she can still have fun and not take life too seriously, then she's a keeper. And finally, not most importantly, but finally, you must have chemistry and connection. So that kind of goes along with feeling like you can spend a lot of time with this person and not get bored of them. So you're both physically, sexually attracted to the person, but you're also emotionally and spiritually, connected to them. So it just feels right, it fits right, and that's when you kind of know that she just might be the one. Now there's lots of ones, but she might be the one. So I did promise a story, and I have a couple questions that you might want to ask yourself to know if she the one. So my story is that the friend I was mentioning got married when he was 50. So that was 2 or 3 years ago now. And he essentially remained a bachelor most of his life. He had a couple of long-term relationships, was engaged twice, called it off because he knew they weren't the one. And he met this woman and she fit all the criteria. Like, you think they don't exist? He got her. So he knew right away, pretty early on, that she was the one. She knew. I mean, they were married in less than a year. This was a few years ago. They're still happy as clams. Well, happy as a happy clam. I'm sure her clam is happy. And we were talking, and because I kind of ran this list past him, and he's like, yeah, that's what you want to look for. And he gave me a good question to ask if you want to make sure you're on the right track with the woman you're seeing or in the future. And he said, how is this person enriching my life? So that's a deep question. So if you're in a relationship and you're not sure, ask the question, how is this person enriching my life? And then I also got another really great question from Mark Groves, who's a relationship coach in Vancouver, and he got it from somewhere else, but I heard it from him, so I'm going to quote it from him. And he said, can somebody else love her better than I can love her? That was a question that he had asked himself when he was engaged and was really questioning, like, whoa, I don't know if I want to do this. And he finally discovered that no, it wasn't the right person for him, and there would be someone else out there who could love her better. And the important part of that question is the flip side of it, which is, can somebody else love me better? And if your answer is that somebody else could love her better, or that somebody else could love me better, then if that answer is yes to either of those questions, That's not the right person for you, either because you've got more work to do on yourself or they're just not the right person for you. So, of course, no one's going to be perfect, but the more of these qualities that she has, the more that you want to up your game to be the kind of guy she deserves. So, again, go back, ask yourself how you fare on all of these questions. And if there's anywhere you need to work on, then get to it and take my Wake Up to Love program. Oh, I knew I'd be able to slip it in somewhere.